A kingpin living like a king, or a ghost slipping through the cracks? A 250 million euro cocaine empire feeding a new narco state? A president's daughter, a secret marriage, or a deal with the devil? A man on Europol's most wanted list, sitting in the front pew at church. A global manhunt blocked by politics, justice left hanging? One man has stayed ahead of Europe's war on drugs, building a smuggling network across continents and hiding millions in cash and gold. Now he lives like royalty under the protection of powerful friends in West Africa, far outside the reach of the law. This is the story of Jos Leidekers, Bolle Jos, the Dutch fugitive who became Europe's most wanted drug lord, and the worldwide chase to finally bring him in. Went from brawler to drug boss, Jos Leidekers was not always a feared international kingpin. In 2011, at only 20 years old, he went to prison for a violent outburst. During a bar fight in his hometown of Breda, he pulled out a gun and shot 2 men, almost ending their lives. The young man, the son of a local brothel owner and small-time criminal, gave no real explanation in court, but the attack earned him 6 years in prison. Prison became a place to make connections for the ambitious Dutchman. Behind bars, he met veteran traffickers, including an Afro-Surinamese drug boss who specialized in moving South American cocaine into Europe. By the time Leidekers got out in 2015, he had learned the cocaine business and collected a long list of underworld contacts. He got married, started a family, and in 2017 settled in a quiet, wealthy suburb near Antwerp. The round-faced criminal, now called Bolle Jos, looked like a normal family man, but it was all fake. A $250 million drug empire. Behind his calm suburban life, Leidekers was building a huge cocaine empire. Using encrypted messaging apps, he organized multi-ton cocaine shipments from Latin America into the ports of Rotterdam and Antwerp, the 2 busiest ports in Europe. These ports move millions of containers each year, and only a small number are checked, a weakness Leidekers used easily. His team bribed dock workers and used extraction crews to remove the hidden drugs before police knew anything. At the height of the operation around 2018 to 2020, he was moving thousands of kilos of cocaine and earning tens of millions of euros every month. Leidekers kept his growing empire in place through smart planning and harsh violence. When a port security guard accidentally got in the way of one of his drug pickups, Leidekers told a group of armed men to take the guard hostage and shoot his knees if he struggles. Incidents like this built his scary reputation. He's also believed to have ordered underworld killings, including the disappearance of a Dutch woman, Naima Gilal, who vanished in 2019 and is thought to have been tortured and unalived over a drug debt. Nothing was too extreme if it protected his business. By 2019, European police cracked an encrypted phone network and found Leidekers' involvement in massive cocaine deals. But by then, Bolle Jos had already escaped. He and his closest partners left the EU to avoid arrest. Leidekers later showed up in Istanbul, Turkey, where he lived in luxury in a glass-walled villa on the Bosphorus. Even from abroad, he kept control of his drug trade. He moved illegal profits into gold bars and luxury items, buying a hotel in Turkey, expensive apartments in Dubai, and 2 Bentleys, and used fake companies to clean money across continents. Dutch investigators say he once spent 47 million euros on almost a ton of gold, flying the bars on private jets to safe countries. It is estimated that in less than a year he made at least 114 million euros from cocaine alone. Leidekers' boldest move happened in late 2023, after Belgian customs seized 10 tons of his cocaine, worth about 250 million euros. In the port of Antwerp, he supposedly planned a military-style raid to steal it back. His crew used tracking devices hidden with the shipment to find the secure warehouse holding the cocaine. They showed up with weapons, attempting a dangerous heist to take it. Belgian police got a tip in time and stopped the attempt, arresting more than 12 men. A court later found Leidekers guilty as the leader and added another 13-year sentence. The failed Antwerp warehouse attempt showed that even while hiding, Bolle Jos could command huge resources to protect his empire, finding safety in West Africa. As Europe and Turkey became unsafe for him, Leidekers needed a new hiding place. He found one thousands of miles away in an unexpected country, Sierra Leone. By 2022, he had quietly moved to this small West African nation, far from European police and media. He took on a new identity, calling himself a foreign investor named Omar Sharif, and began entering Freetown's elite circles. Sierra Leone may seem like a strange choice, but for someone like Leigh Deckers, it made sense. West Africa had grown into a major stopping point for cocaine smuggling, a region where weak law enforcement and corruption made things easy for traffickers. Cargo coming from West African ports drew far less attention from European customs. In Sierra Leone, institutions were weak and officials could be paid to ignore things. For Bola Jose, it was ideal, a place to rebuild his operations and live in luxury with little resistance. Soon after arriving, Leigh Deckers made headlines in Freetown's nightlife, even if not on purpose. On New Year's Day 2023, a fight at a fancy beachside casino ended with a well-known young man shot in the knees. Witnesses said the white foreigner called Omar was involved. Behind the scenes, journalists were warned to drop the story because it was in the president's hands. It was the first sign that the newcomer had strong protectors. Even with the violent incident, Leigh Deckers' rise into Sierra Leone's elite continued smoothly. With plenty of money, he became a regular at Freetown's Lagunda Casino, spending huge amounts and tipping workers with $100 bills. He acted like a rich, polite foreign investor. He did not drink, stayed quiet in public, and traveled with a small security team, avoiding attention. Meanwhile, if international police were searching for Europe's most wanted trafficker, they had no idea he was living under another name in a West African city. A fugitive finds shelter with help from a president, power, and protection in Sierra Leone. Leigh Deckers' ties to Sierra Leone's leadership went far beyond charity or business. In a surprising twist, the Dutch drug boss seems to have become part of the president's family. Several sources claim that Bola Jose got romantically involved with Agnes Bio, the daughter of Sierra Leone's president Julius Maada Bio, and that they are now married. This connection, which is still not officially confirmed, placed Leigh Deckers close to the country's ruling family. And it showed. The fugitive was seen at major events next to the nation's elite. Video from a New Year's church service in Sierra Leone on January 1st, 2025, appears to show Jose Leigh Deckers sitting just behind President Julius Maada Bio's front row family. Dutch journalists first shared the footage, and it shocked the public. Europe's most wanted cocaine boss was calmly attending mass in the president's home village of Tijoux, sitting only 2 rows behind the president. Beside him was a young woman said to be Agnes Bio. When the video came out in early 2025, it caused a scandal. How could a wanted criminal be sitting beside the president's daughter in public? Sierra Leone's government responded defensively. The president's office said he did not know who the man in the video was, explaining that he attends many public events and cannot know every person there. Soon after, local police said they were doing a manhunt for Leigh Deckers. But a police commander also told reporters the man was just Omar Sharif, a foreign businessman, and that they had no official notice from abroad about Jose Leigh Deckers. To outsiders, it looked like a weak attempt, maybe even a cover-up. In truth, Leigh Deckers seemed protected by powerful people in Sierra Leone. More signs of protection continued to appear. An exiled opposition member accused the government of hiding the drug lord in return for money. Rumors spread that Leigh Deckers had a child with the president's daughter, connecting him even more deeply to the Bio family. Reports came out that journalists were being pressured by authorities when they tried to look into his activities. Meanwhile, the man himself kept enjoying life in Freetown, joining private parties with ministers and military officers, always surrounded by guards but never bothered by police. It seemed like Jose Leigh Deckers had turned Sierra Leone into his own safe kingdom, where wealth and influence kept him safe. Manhunt and extradition standoff. Back in Europe, police and officials watched these events with anger and disbelief. The Netherlands had already convicted Leigh Deckers in absentia, giving him 24 years in prison for cocaine trafficking, money laundering, and ordering violent acts. Belgium had also sentenced him in absentia. Europol placed Bola Jose on its most wanted list, and Dutch authorities offered a reward of 200,000 euros, the largest they had ever posted, for information leading to his capture. By early 2025, Dutch prosecutors said publicly that they were certain Jose Leigh Deckers was hiding in Sierra Leone, and bringing him back to prison had become a major goal. Diplomatically, this became a difficult situation. The Dutch government sent an official extradition request to Sierra Leone in February 2025, asking for the fugitive to be handed over. But Sierra Leone, which has no extradition treaty with the Netherlands, moved slowly. Leaders in Freetown said they would consider the request, but explained that any extradition would need to go through local courts. They claimed they would work with Interpol and Dutch authorities, but very little happened. By the fall of 2025, the Netherlands Justice Minister announced he would personally visit Sierra Leone and nearby countries to push for Leidekkers to be handed over, showing how serious Europe was. Still, for now, the drug lord remains safe and out of reach.